Hello. Okay, they are audible. May I audible? Today we are going to discuss about the money and banking part 1, and tomorrow we will discuss on the second part. Okay, so I think you started your studies and continuously doing it. Yes, of course. Now the exams are starting soon, so you have to be prepared for everything. So you have to do that. Okay. Just a second, may I audible to all of you? May I audible clearly? Okay. So let us start the money and banking part first. As we know that banking sector is the blood vessels of the economy. जैसे किसी बॉडी में ब्लड वेसल्स रहता है तो पूरा बॉडी ऑपरेटिव रहता है. अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट जैसे ही फाइनेंशियल सिस्टम इज स्ट्रॉन्ग विद अ कंट्री, दैट कंट्री विल बी मोर स्ट्रॉन्ग एज कम्पेयर टू द अदर्स. That's why the financial system has its own importance in the economy. Okay, so let us study the currency, or let us study the money supply. Okay, this currency of a country is known as money, as we all know. That is, in US there is dollar, in India there is rupee. Okay, so as per the country's currency are varied from each other. Then let us see, it is we can say that is legal money. Okay, because we are utilizing this money for the transaction purposes. And second part or second function of the money, that is store of money, store value. Okay, so in that case, that store of value, that is or we can say that store function of money is comes under the supply of money. So it is whatever that can be used as a means of payment is considered as the money. It is consist of real currency, bank credit cards and lines of credit, even the various modern electric means of payments. Even we can consider here the digital payments made by anybody is comes under the money supply. And it originated and issued in 1540-45 by Sher Shah Suri at the first time, or we can say in the first time in the international level. It is utilized the paper currency, that is by the China. Okay, so according to the Paper Currency Act 1861 gave the monopoly to British government to issue notes in India in the British. And today the central bank, that is Reserve Bank of India, issue currency note under the RBI Act 1934, which creates the money. Okay, let us see the next one. That is, what are the features of paper money? So for that, paper money is a currency, or we can say country's official legal money, which is distributed for the transactions of purchasing the goods and services. Okay, so it is utilized by the four manner. That is, government is utilizing the money, peoples are utilizing the money, organizers are also utilizing the money, and business, all the businesses are utilizing the money. Then this paper currency is printed by whom? That is the central bank, and it is controlled by the monetary policy makers. That is, who are in that committee, monetary policy committee. They are the members who decide how to utilize the total supply of money in the economy. So it is always secured and updated by the new versions. So nowadays there is Utkarsh 2.0. It is determined by the monetary policy makers. It is always secured and updated with the new versions, meaning monetary measures. So it should be more difficult for contract fighters to generate illegal money or currency notes. That is true. We have to utilize the legal money for the economic purpose. Then we will see the concept of money supply. What is mean by the money supply? So let us understand. The money supply is the total stock of money available in the economy at particular period of time. That is, this stock of money circulating in an economy in the money supply. That is, flowing money includes the currency, printed notes, money in the bank accounts, and in the forms of other liquid assets. Okay, so supply of money effectively works in the monetary policy of the country, and it helps the economists to analyze and evaluate the total supply of money. It is also helpful to frame the new monetary policy and to modify the current policy of increasing or reducing the money supply. Yes. याचं जर मराठीकरण करायचं झालं किंवा तुम्हाला मराठीतून सांगायचं झालं तर एकूण पैशाचा पुरवठा जो आहे अर्थव्यवस्थेमधला तो अर्थपुरवठा किंवा पैशाचा पुरवठा जो आहे तो RBIच्या माध्यमातून केला जातो. सर्वप्रथम या जगामध्ये चायनाने किंवा चीन म्हणतो आपण मराठीमध्ये, चीननी पेपर करन्सी वापरण्यासाठी सुरुवात केली आणि आपल्या देशामध्ये 1545 पासून करन्सी किंवा नोट्स ट्रान्झॅक्शनसाठी नोट्स वापरण्याची पद्धत शेषाशुरीपासून अंमलात आणलेली आहे. तर याचा महत्त्वाचं काम, मौद्रिक धोरणाचं महत्त्वाचं काम जे आहे की या एकूण पैशाच्या पुरवठ्यावर जो काही नियंत्रण करायचं असतं ते नियंत्रण करण्यासाठी वेगवेगळ्या प्रकारे प्रयत्न केले जातात. ते आपण उद्याच्या लेक्चरमध्ये बघणार आहोत, ॲक्च्युअल इम्प्लिमेंटेशन ऑफ मॉनिटरी पॉलिसी. ओके, आजच्या लेक्चरमध्ये आपण बघतोय की मुळात ही कन्सेप्ट काय आहे, मनी सप्लाय म्हणजे काय आणि पैशाचा पुरवठा कशा पद्धतीने कार्यान्वित होतो हे आपण आता बघतोय. तर हे बघत असताना पैशाचा पुरवठा कुठे कुठे लागतो ते आपण पाहिलं. जसं की गव्हर्नमेंट पैसा वापरते, लोक पैसा वापरतात, सरकार पैसा वापरतात किंवा आपण बिझनेस पर्सन्स जे आहेत ते पैसा वापरतात. म्हणजे या ठिकाणी पैशांच्या उलाढाली ह्या मोठ्या प्रमाणात होत असतात की ज्याला आपण लिक्विड मनी म्हणतो त्याची गरज असते किंवा तरलता जी आहे ती आवश्यक असते आणि त्याच्यासाठी सप्लाय ऑफ मनी हा महत्त्वाचा घटक आहे किंवा पैशाचा पुरवठा महत्त्वाचा घटक आहे. आता आपण विचार करूया त्या कोणकोणत्या पद्धतींमध्ये हा पैसा उपलब्ध आहे. So for better understanding, we are classifying the measures of money in 4 phases. Okay, that is M1, M2, M3, M4. Okay, the first two part of the money supply, measurement of money supply, that is M1 and M2, are also called as narrow money. Okay, and the concepts like M3 and M4, that is comes under the broad money. म्हणजे ज्या पैशाची व्याप्ती कमी आहे त्याला संकुचित पैसा असं म्हणतात आणि ज्या पैशाची व्याप्ती मोठी आहे त्याला आपण व्याप्त पैसा म्हणतो किंवा ब्रॉड मनी आपण म्हणतो त्याला. लेट अस सी फर्स्ट वन टू कन्सेप्ट दॅट इज M1 and M2. हे बघा, हे तुमच्या परफेक्ट लक्षात राहण्यासाठी मी असं हे एकाच स्लाइडमध्ये 2 पॉइंट्स मी तुम्हाला इथे दाखवते आहे. सो धिस मनी सप्लाय इज ऑल्सो नोन ॲज नॅरो मनी सप्लाय अँड इट इज मोस्ट लिक्विड मेजर्स ऑफ द मनी. इट कॅन बी इझिली It can be easily used as a medium of exchange and making payments for transactions. So, it is known as M1 is equal to C plus DD plus OD. Okay, याच्यामध्ये what do you mean by C? That is currency with the public notes and coins. Okay. DD, that is demand deposits with the public in the commercial and cooperative banks, and OD, that other deposits held by the public with RBI. Okay, so जे पहिलं आहे C म्हणजे करन्सी, की सगळ्यांकडे जो पैसा उपलब्ध असतो तो. त्याच्यानंतर डिमांड डिपॉझिट्स म्हणजे तुमच्या ज्या काही ठेवी असतात कमर्शियल बँकमध्ये किंवा आपण जर तो व्यापारी बँका आणि कोऑपरेटिव्ह सहकारी बँका याच्यामध्ये असणारे जे काही तुमच्या ठेवी असतील त्या आपण इथे कन्सिडर करतो. अदर डिपॉझिट्स की जे पब्लिक विथ RBI असे जे असेल ते आपण इथे कन्सिडर करतो. ओके, हा झाला M1 पैसा. आता M2 पैसा म्हणजे काय? द सेकंड मेजर ऑफ मनी सप्लाय इज M2, नोन ॲज M2, which is a broader concept of money supply than M1, but it is also comes under the narrow money. Okay, it consists of M1 plus post office savings, bank deposits. Since saving bank deposits for the commercial and cooperative banks are included in the money supply, and it is essential to include post office savings, bank deposits. Okay, so here there is a simple measurement, that is M1 plus additional part of that is the DD with other post office deposits. Okay, so demand deposits with commercial and cooperative banks excluding interbank deposit. Commonly people in rural areas or urban areas have preference of post office deposit from safety point of view. So these bank deposits are also considered under the M2. Okay, let us see the M3 and M4, which are called as the broad money. Okay, so the third measure of money supply in India is M3, which consists of M1 plus time deposits with commercial banks and cooperative banks excluding interbank time deposits. The RBI calls M3 as a broad money. Okay, so third measure of money supply in India, the M3, which consists of the commercial banks plus टाइम डिपॉजिट्स विथ कमर्शियल बैंक्स. सो M2 यहाँ पे कंसिडर होता है. सो M3 is equal to M2 plus time deposits with commercial banks we are considering. Okay, let us see the last one concept of M4, last measurement of money, that is M4. This M4 is equal to M3, means M2 plus time deposits with commercial banks plus time deposits with post offices, but it excluding the national savings certificates. Okay, so the fourth measure of money supply is M4, which consists of M3 plus total post office deposit, comparing time deposits with the demand deposit as well. Okay, so this is the broadest measure of the money supply. So we can summarize it as a broad money. So M3 and M4 are also called as broad money. Okay, so in the exam point of view, these questions are very essential. That is, what is mean by the narrow money, what is mean by the broad money. So there are contents given in the options, so you have to select for M3 M4 as broad money, and the time deposits with the commercial banks, and time deposits with the postal offices, both are considered under the broad money. Okay, and options like M1 and M2, like that, it is considered under the narrow money, that is the money held by the public, and the time deposits with the commercial banks are considered under the narrow. Okay, I think you understand the concepts. तुमच्या लक्षात आला की पैशाच्या मोजण्याच्या ज्या पद्धती आहेत त्याच्यामध्ये मूल्यमापन किंवा पैशाचं मूल्यांकन जे केलं जातं ते 4 पद्धतीत केलं जातं. M1, M2, M3, M4 असंच त्याला म्हणतात. तर त्या पद्धतींमध्ये आपल्याला संकुचित पैसा आणि व्याप्त पैसा अशा 2 कन्सेप्ट आहेत. संकुचित पैशामध्ये पहिल्या 2 कन्सेप्ट येतात, तर व्याप्त पैशामध्ये नंतरच्या 2 कन्सेप्ट येतात. इतकं लक्षात ठेवा आणि त्या पद्धतीने अभ्यास करा. ओके, लेट अस सी द मनी डिटर्मिनंट्स. येस, दिस इज द मेजर पार्ट ऑफ द स्टडी, द मनी डिटर्मिनंट्स, की पैशाच्या पुरवठ्यामध्ये बदल कशामुळे होऊ शकतो. ओके, the determinant factors are responsible to make the change in the money supply, and that is an interesting part of the study also. Okay, हेच अभ्यास करण्यासाठीचा महत्त्वाचा किंवा आपण ज्याला म्हणतो इंटरेस्टिंग पार्ट आहे. That is, these money supply determinants are in 3 ways. First one factor, that is reserve money. Second one factor, that is high power money. Third one factor, that is money multiplier. Okay, so money multiplier is nothing but 1 upon reserve ratio. So stock of high power money, that is indicated by H. The ratio of reserve to deposits, that is E is equal to ER upon D. And the ratio of currency to deposits, that is C is equal to C upon D. So all these determinant represents the behavior of the central bank, behavior of the commercial banks, and the behavior of the general public respectively. Means what? That is, all the details are available on the given web link. So you have to follow all that links while studying the preparation of the net. So I'm not going to tell the details, but yes, of course, I will tell you about the behavior of the central bank, behavior of the commercial banks, and the behavior of the general public. Okay, means we will derive the determinant factors of high powered money, reserve deposits, and currency deposits. Okay, the ratio of currency with the deposits. Let us see. First, we will see the behavior of the central bank. The behavior of the central bank, which controls the issue of currency, is reflected in the supply of nominal high power money. That is, money stock is determined by the money multiplier, that is 1 upon reserve ratio. Okay, and the monetary base is controlled by the monetary authority. So if the behavior of public and the commercial banks remains unchanged over time, the total supply of nominal money in the economy will vary directly with the supply of nominal high power money issued by the central bank. Okay, so this is the behavior of central bank. Next one we will see, that is means the reserve ratio. Okay, second part, that is the credit money, that is by creating the credit creation. Okay, credit creation is the behavior of commercial banks. So the commercial banks determine the total amount of nominal demand deposits. The behavior of commercial banks in the economy is reflected in the ratio of their cash reserves to the deposits, known as reserve ratio. What it? If the required reserve ratio on demand deposits increases, while all the other variable remains the same, so there would be more reserves. Okay, then this implies that the banks must contract their loans. Got it? And causing a decline in deposits and hence the money supply. If the required reserve ratio falls, then there will be the greater expansion of the deposits. Got it? Because the same level of reserves can now support more deposits and the money supply will increase. This behavior is depends on the policy of the rate of interest. Okay, so when the banks are applying higher rate of interest, then there is more demand for the loans. If there is reduction in the rate of interest, then people are withdrawing the money. Got it? So that's why the behavior of commercial banks is impacting on the supply of, directly impacting on the supply of money. Let us see the behavior of public. The public by their decision in respect of the amount of nominal currency in their hand, that is hard cash. Okay, hard cash. So अभी आपके पॉकेट में कितना पैसा है, that is known as the hard cash. You're holding the liquidity of money is in a position to influence the amount of the nominal demand deposits of the commercial banks. So the behavior of the public influence the bank credit, correct, through the decisions of the ratio of currency to the money supply designated as currency ratio. Okay, and the currency deposit ratio, that is small c, represents the degree of adoption of the banking habits by the people. This is related to the level of economic activities of the GDP growth and is influenced by the degree of financial sophistication in terms of ease and access to the financial services, availability of the richer array of liquid financial assets, financial innovations, institutional charges, etc. Okay, so the time deposit and demand deposits ratio, that is how much money is kept as time deposits compared to the demand deposits, also has an important implications for the money multiplier and hence for the money stock in the economy. An increase in the time deposits or demand deposit ratio means that greater availability of free reserves and consequent enlargement of the volume of multiple deposit expansion and monetary expansion. Got it? मतलब जितना डिमांड डिपॉजिट एंड टाइम डिपॉजिट का रेशो ज़्यादा रहेगा उतना इकोनॉमी में एक्सपांशन जो है डिपॉजिट एक्सपांशन वो ज़्यादा रहेगा. Let us see the concept of credit multiplier, which is also responsible factor of the money supply. Okay, so the credit multiplier, also referred to as the demand deposit multiplier or the deposit expansion multiplier, describe the amount of additional money created by the commercial banks through the process of lending available money it has in excess of the central bank's reserve requirements. Okay, so the deposits multiplier is the inextricably tied to the bank's reserve requirement, and this measures tells us how much new money will be created by the banking system for given increase in the high power money. It reflects a bank's ability to increase the money supply. The credit multiplier is reciprocal to the required reserve ratio. Next part, that is if this reserve ratio is suppose 20%, The credit multiplier is like 1 upon reserve ratio, that is 0.20. That is 5, it will be the answer, and that's why the credit multiplier is equal to 1 upon required reserve ratio. So the existing of the credit multiplier is outcome of the fractional reserve banking. It explains how increase in money supply is caused by the commercial banks' use of deposits and funds to lend the money. And when a bank uses deposited money for lending, the bank generates other claim on the given amount of deposited money. It means that the credit creation बैंक का कितना हो रहा है, according to that there will be the expansion of the money supply. Okay, and for controlling of that, the monetary policy is working for the same. Okay, then let us see the Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank of India, that is the second part. Okay, second part of your study, that is central bank. Under this, as we know, that is the Reserve Bank of India is established in 1935, correct? And why it is established for the maintaining the money supply, or we can say the credit control, to supervise to the banking and financial system, and to regulate the issues of the banknotes and keeping the records in a best manner, operate the currency and credit money, even provide the advantages and meet the challenges of regulating the financial system in India, etc. are the reasons. Okay, so now this Reserve Bank of India is starting with the Utkarsh 2.0, and for that the bank is working for that. Let us see the functions of RBI. What are the missions having by the RBI? That is the economic and financial well-being of the people of India in terms of price and financial stability. That is done by the RBI. Even fair and universal access to the financial services, that is done by the RBI. And robust, the dynamic and responsive financial intermediary infrastructure provided to the public through the RBI. Okay, so what are the fundamental functions done by the RBI that we have to look after? And that is nothing but issuing of notes and currency. Yes, of course, that is the primary function of RBI. Then second, that is bankers to the government. Okay, मतलब जो भी budgetary announcement, that should be managed by the RBI only. Then the bankers bank. Any public sector bank or private sector bank, if need the financial support, then they go to the RBI and get this financial support from it. Then the controller of credit. Yes, of course, that is the main responsibility of the RBI, and it is very strong in India. That is, they are controlling the credit with utilizing the variety of tools, instruments, with the quantitative measures and qualitative measures are used to control on the credit. Okay, then bank is also working for the custodian of foreign exchange reserve, through which the foreign exchange reserves are controlled by the RBI. That is, the account of balance of payments are maintained by the RBI, that we see in the international trade. That is the work of RBI. Okay, so this is the main functions of RBI. And for more details, you have to visit the RBI, and on that website, that is www.rbi.org. That is the official website of RBI. and where you have to take care about the bulletin published by the RBI. Okay, RBI Bulletin you have to read once a time. In that you will found all the detailed statistical information regarding the financial system and work done by the RBI. Okay, the monetary implementation, the credit multiplier, the wholesale index, the price index, then commodity index. Okay, these all information you will got in the official website. Okay, and that is correct. So visit the RBI website and follow the bulletin points. Okay, so without failure, because it is very very essential. हे बघा, ही मी अत्यंत महत्त्वाचं सांगतेय तुम्हाला की RBIच्या वेबसाईटवर गेल्यानंतर तुम्हाला तिथे वेगवेगळ्या बुलेट्स दिसतील. जसं आपण एखादी साईट ओपन केल्यानंतर वेगवेगळ्या बुलेट्स दिसतात, तशा तिथे तुम्हाला बुलेट्स दिसतील. त्याच्यामध्ये पब्लिकेशन्सचं बुलेट आहे, त्याच्यानंतर त्याच्या अंतर्गत हे बुलेटिन नावाचं जे मॅगझिन RBI स्वतः पब्लिश करते, त्याच्यामध्ये सगळ्या प्रकारची सांख्यिकीय माहिती बँक पुरवत असते, जी पब्लिकली किंवा पब्लिक अवेअरनेससाठीच असते की आत्ता लोकांचा पैसा व्यवहारात किती प्रमाणात आहे, काय आहे, ह्याच्या सगळी माहिती, इत्थंभूत माहिती या बुलेटिन नावाच्या मॅगझिनमध्ये आलेली असते. सो तुम्ही आणि फ्युचर प्रॉस्पेक्टस काय आहे हे पण त्याच्यामध्ये मेन्शन केलेलं असतं, किंवा इन हिस्टॉरिकल पार्ट ऑफ दी RBI that is also explained in the latest articles. So you should follow that bulletin reading. That is also important for the competitive exam plus our net set examinations. Okay, मग त्याच्यामध्ये काही करंट चेंजेस झाले असतील, बँकेने काही रेग्युलेशन्स नवीन केले असतील, तर ते सुद्धा तुम्हाला त्याच्यामध्ये पाहायला मिळतं. सो आवर्जून तुम्ही RBIच्या साईटवर गेल्यानंतर बुलेटिनचं जे हे आहे, बुलेटिनचा जो बुलेट आहे तो ओपन करायचा आहे आणि त्याच्यामधून तुम्ही सगळी स्टॅटिस्टिकल इन्फॉर्मेशन जी आहे, सांख्यिकीय माहिती जी आहे ती गोळा करायची आहे. तुमच्या परीक्षेच्या दृष्टिकोनातून होलसेल इंडेक्स, होलसेल प्राइस इंडेक्स, त्याच्यानंतर HRD किती आहे, HDI किती आहे, ह्युमन डेव्हलपमेंट इंडेक्स, ह्या सगळ्या माहिती ज्या आहे ते तुम्हाला RBIच्या वेबसाईटवरून बुलेटिनच्या अंकामध्ये पाहायला मिळेल. Then let us see this very very essential part of the banking or RBI सेंट्रल बँक्सचं जे काही तुम्हाला इव्हॅल्युएशन बघायचं आहे, त्याच्यामध्ये these acts and laws असं एक तुम्हाला तिथे बुलेट दिसेल, acts and laws. त्याच्यासाठी मी तिथे स्पेशली लिहिले, त्याच्यामध्ये RBI Act 1934, then Banking Regulation Act 1949, RBI's regulations under FEMA. What is mean by FEMA? That is Foreign Exchange Management Act. That is FEMA. Okay, and that is started from 1999. So what are the amendments made by the RBI? That is included in that. So go through that. Then Government Securities Act in 2006. Payment and Settlement System Act. Okay, that is 2007. These all are the latest. Then payment and settlement regulations from implementation of these regulations from 2008 onwards. Then government securities regulations, that is again newly recommendations are added here in 2009. And RBI note refund rules, that is 2009. And Indian Coinage Act, that is from 2011. So these are the we can say the basic acts made by the RBI. So you have to go through all these acts, see the amendments made by the under these acts. Okay, and it is very very essential to study, because see 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Okay, so 9 questions can be raised with the help of only these act and laws. Okay, so go through that acts and just look that which act is implemented for what reason. Okay, RBI रेगुलेशन अंडर फीमा क्या काम करता है, अंडर गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज एक्ट किस क्या काम करता है, ओनली दैट यू हैव टू लुक, देन यू विल फाइंड द ऑल आन्सर्स. ओके, तुम्हाला फक्त या वेबसाईटवर गेल्यानंतर ॲक्ट्स अँड लॉज या बुलेटमध्ये गेल्यानंतर तुम्हाला हे सगळं ओपन होईल. तुमच्या रिजनल लँग्वेजमध्ये पण मे बी ओपन नाही, हिंदीमध्ये अवेलेबल आहे, रिजनल लँग्वेजमध्ये नाही. आयदर हिंदीमध्ये किंवा इंग्लिशमध्ये हे RBIची साईट उपलब्ध आहे. तर त्याच्यामध्ये तुम्ही हे बघू शकता, वाचू शकता आणि कोणता लॉ कशासाठी वापरला जात आहे किंवा त्याच्यात कशाची तरतूद करण्यात आलेली आहे हे मात्र तुम्ही ह्या 9 किंवा एक कॉलम तयार करा आणि त्या कॉलम पुढे ते लिहून ठेवा. हे आता इयर तर मी दिलेले आहे, फक्त तुम्हाला त्याच्यामध्ये ॲडिशनल काय करायचं आहे तर कशाची तरतूद त्या कन्सर्न लॉमध्ये आहे ते तुम्ही फक्त इम्प्लिमेंट करायचं. ओके, अँड दॅट डेफिनेटली हेल्प यू फॉर द कॉम्पिटेटिव्ह एक्झामिनेशन्स. नेक्स्ट पार्ट. Yes, the last part of our today's session, that is commercial banks. Okay, so you know the commercial banks are divided into 3 types. Okay, that is public sector banks, private sector banks and foreign banks, correct? So first we will see the types of commercial banks, that is private sector banks, public sector banks and foreign banks. First, we will see private sector. The majority stake is owned by the private shareholders, individual and corporates. That is comes under the private sector. They accept deposits and distribute loans to individual customers, small businesses, and medium-sized businesses. That is comes under the private sector banks. So HDFC, ICICI, then Axis Bank, UCO Bank, these banks are comes under the private sector banks. Okay, let us move towards the public sector banks. For public banks, majority equity lies in the hands of the government, and nationalized banks provide financial services to the mass customers at the affordable rates. That is the important point of the public sector banks. These banks having the two criteria, that is the 1969 Act and after that 1980. Okay, so these are the two important years where the banks are converted into nationalized banks. Okay, first there are 14 banks are converted, and second time in 1980 there is 6 banks are converted as nationalized banks. So now there are 12 banks, 20 public sector banks and 26 private sector banks are working in India. Foreign public private banks are 26 and Indian private banks are 21 in number. Okay, keep in mind. Then foreign banks, as the name suggests, these financial institutions operate in foreign countries but have head offices in the parent country. The banks, foreign branches take deposit, extend loans, engage in securities trading, and facilitate the foreign exchange functions. So that is the foreign banks. Let us see the percentage. Yes, here. So nationalized banks in public sector, that is 12. Private Indian private banks, that is 21 in number, and foreign private banks works in India, that is number 26. Then you can also make the statistical information of the cooperative and scheduled non-scheduled cooperative banking. Okay, so even we can study the regional rural banks. You have to make the separate statistical information of that also. And I would like to suggest you that is NABARD's branch loan expansion and how much money they are provided for the agriculture and rural development. That you have to look after. Okay, then let us see in the establishment year of the each bank. Okay, that is the we can see from which year the banks are started for the ATM work, the digitalization of the banking sector, who banks firstly introduced the ATM, like that questions you can easily reachable. Okay, so functions of commercial banks, that is commercial banks play a very important role for the economic growth of a country and liquidity by the catering to the magnitude of the customers and their clienting the comparisons and individuals and small and mid-sized corporates. Then the customers obtain low rate of interest on the bank deposits, but bank loans funds as highest interest rate on a margin, also known as the spread. Recently, some of these banks introduced investment banking divisions, Citibank and JPM organ chess. But banks like the LE operates only the commercial aspect of the business. So that is the various types of commercial banks which we already see. So let us see the functions of banks in it is divided into three types, that is primary functions and secondary functions and tertiary functions. Let us see the first one, that is primary functions. Under this, accepting current deposits, then demand deposit, fixed deposit, saving account deposits from the customer. That is the first, we can say, the function of primary function of the commercial bank. Then providing cash credit, auto loans, mortgage loans, and the short-term loans, short-term, medium, and long-term loans and advances. That is the primary function. Then creating by the expanding deposits, creating credit by expanding deposit. That is the also comes under the primary functions of the commercial banks. Then let us say the secondary function. Bank acts as an agent for the funds transfer or collection, make payments on behalf of the clients. They extend overdraft facility to the current account holders. They discount the bills of exchange and offer locker facility to the public, even issue traveler's check to the public. Okay, so these are the secondary functions we can include. And next one, that is, let us see the tertiary functions. Under these tertiary functions, the supportive and the advisory functions are comes under the tertiary functions of the banks, where bank is promoting the products like vehicle loans, home loans, extra deposit, then lockers. Okay, these are done by the banking sector. That is comes under the tertiary functions. Let us discuss on the role of the commercial banks. First, we will see, yes, banks act as an agent for fund transfer or collection, make the payments on behalf of the clients. That banks are directly not helping to the public. It is indirectly doing the business with the help of these transferring the funds from one bank to the another. In previous period, it is a trustworthy work from the bank that they are making the help of transferring the funds from one place to another. But nowadays, it become very easiest to transfer the funds from one place to another. Even accepting funds make the habits of savings, okay, to increase the habits of savings in the public. That is, the quantum of interest depends upon the tenure and length of the time for which depositors wishing to keep the money with the bank and ease of the withdrawal. So the thumb rule is the longer the tenure, higher the rate interest, and lesser the tenure, lesser the interest. So according to that, the bank is interested to increase the deposits from the public. That is the primary, comes under the primary functions. Okay. Then we will see the current deposits. These current deposits are utilized by the business owners. Okay. And the business firms, institutions, and cooperative bodies having their current accounts in the bank, because this current account having the zero balance, and it is most utilized by the foreign banks also. So the daily transactions are done by the current account. Okay, so that should you keep in your mind. Then bank is work for the savings accounts. The saving deposit promotes the threat amongst the people, and the savings deposits can only be held by individuals and non-profit institutions. So the rate of interest paid on the savings deposits is lower than that of the time deposits. The saving account holder gets the advantages of liquidity, okay, that is as an current account, and small income in the form of the interest, but not allowed to open the saving accounts. Presently, this interest on the savings bank accounts is determined by the RBI, and that is 4.5% per annum. So the cooperative banks are allowing to pay an extra more than 5% of the saving bank deposits of the public banks. So no fill account is also there. Time deposits are also there. The mode of working of these auto sweep facility, sweeping, reserve sweep, even the recurring deposits, fixed deposit, flexi deposit, that is also available in the commercial banks. They are under the granting the loans and advances. We have to keep in mind that is the term loans are provided by the commercial banks, and under that intermediaries term loans, long term and short term credit loans are also provided. So under the short term credit, we can consider the overdraft, cash credit, and purchasing, as well as a discounting of bills. These are considered under the short term loans provided by the commercial banks. Then loans and advances, under that currently banks are determining the rate themselves, and each bank is however required to fix a minimum rate known as the prime lending rate. Prime lending rate, that is also known as PLR. Okay, so loans and advances given by the bankers can be classified broadly like personal security of the debtor, then tangible or collateral securities, personal securities, and fixed deposit receipts. So these all are comes under the primary functions. Let us see under the secondary functions. As we discussed the locker system and all that travelers check, agency functions we can consider here. That is, the commercial banks are providing the agency functions, those functions that bank provide to the customer for which they receive some income from that. Okay, मतलब क्या कि payments and collection of the checks. For that, the bank will send a check to its branch as that center and get the amount collected from small fees. Okay, and the amount of check draft will accounts also chargeable. So like demand drafts and also the check of other banks are chargeable for the transfer of payments. Okay, so charges of each of these activities differ from bank to bank, and while selecting a bank for opening an account, these charges are an important parameter which one should keep in mind. Okay, so let us see the next one, secondary function, that is bills and promissory notes. Yes, so bills of exchange is a written order by the drawer to the drawee to pay money to the payee. The most common type of bills of exchange is the check. A check is in terms of the bills of exchange drawn on a banks and payable on the demand. So आपको सिंपल में ऐसा क्वेश्चन आ सकता है जैसे कि which are of the following is comes under the bills of exchange. So that is check. Okay. Check, demand deposits, other deposits and saving account, ऐसा कुछ भी ऑप्शन में आ सकता है. So answer is check. So like that you have to prepare the depth of details. The website I given provided to you, please follow that. Then the loans between individuals, writing, signings and promissory notes is often considered under a good idea for the tax and the record keeping reasons. And then executive of the standing instructions. Under that, a standing order is an instruction an account holder gives to this bank to pay a set amount at regular interval to the another account. So the instruction is sometimes known as banker's order, and it is typically used to pay rent, mortgage and the fixed rent. Okay, but there is the potential risk that unscrupulous and inefficient benefits might claim the money, and that is not due to the services. Then let us see bank is acting as a trustee. Okay, so under the section 3 of the Indian Trust Act 1882, a trust is an obligation annexed to the ownership of property arising out of the confidence reposed in and expected by the owners, or the declared or the expected by the person for the benefit of other or the owner, both. Okay, so whenever a company wishes to issue the securities debentures, it has appointment of the financial intermediaries as a trustee who takes the charge of the securities of the debentures and took after the interest after the debenture holders. So such entity necessarily has to have expertise in the financial matters. So a banker has a few special obligations in such accounts, and accordingly special care is taken for in such account holders. Okay, then executors or the attorney. As we know, the administration of a will or a settlement requires specialized knowledge. A bank undertakes these complicated duties of such customers who may desire to nominate the bank in such capacities. Okay, so next one, that is general utility functions. Under that we can consider the safe custody, safe deposit vaults, then remittance of the funds and demand draft, mail transfer or mail orders they are accepting. Telephonic transfers or tele orders are also accepting by the banks. Then nowadays these online tax payments are increased. Then electronic mode for the quick transactions from one bank to another. So more and more banks are now offering the electronic mode to transfer the funds, such as electronic transfer system, and the remittance of the funds through these modes with a quicker manner. Okay, then pension payments under the facility of disbursement of the payments through authorized bank available on the pensioners. A pensioner is entitled to receive his or her pensions by getting the credited to the saving account or current account also. So operating individual or the joint accounts are also be there. So the pension payment order, that is also known as PPO account. Okay, so the joint account of the pensioners with the spouse could be operated either formal or survival, basis. Okay, then so all these are comes under the general utility functions. Okay, so there are three types of functions: primary, secondary, and general utility functions. Yes. So let us see the structure of the additional part of the banking sector, that is RBI's structure, that it is divided into three types, that is commercial banks, regional rural banks, and cooperative banks. Under the commercial banks, there are two trees like public sector banks, private sector banks. Under the public sector banks, there is a state bank and its associate banks, and second part, that is nationalized. Under the private sector banks, there are Indian banks which are working in India, domestic as well as international level, and foreign banks, the banks which are working in India. Okay, so SBI, here we can see State Bank of Bikaner and Jaipur, State Bank of Hyderabad, State Bank of Mysore, State Bank of Patiala, State Bank of Travancore, and its associate 7 banks. Nearly 34% of the aggregate banking business from all banking sector. Then there are total 12 nationalized banks in India, that is Central Bank of India, Bank of India, then Punjab National Bank, Bank of Baroda, UCO Bank, Canara Bank, State Bank of India, the Union Bank of India, the Indian Bank, Bank of Maharashtra, then the Indian Overseas Bank, and Punjab and Sindh Bank. Okay, so these are the banks which we are considering nationalized bank. Okay, under the regional rural banks, since the middle of 1970, the regional rural banks came into existence in India, and these banks are essentially commercial banks. However, their area of operation is restricted to a district. Okay, so you have to keep in your mind that is these banks are working for the rural development in respect of the agriculture, trade, commerce, and industry. Okay, then cooperative banks are concerned with the Credit Societies Act in 1904. And these banks are classified under two groups like urban cooperative banks and rural cooperative banks. And urban cooperative banks, that is served by the urban area by the state, under the state government, and there are urban cooperative credit societies working in urban areas to supply the credit at a low rate of interest and semi-urban weaker section of the society. Then the rural banks, that the state cooperative banks at a fixed level of the state level. Then district cooperative banks are there. Then primary agriculture credit societies are there. So the state cooperative banks and the credit central cooperative banks provide financial support to primary cooperative banks society, and the funds of the Reserve Bank are provided to agriculture sector through the state cooperative banks and central cooperative banks. Under the central bank, we can consider these nationalized banks. And you have to keep in your mind that the number of all these banks are essential. Then you have to consider the foreign exchange market under the capital market. Okay, so this is all about the India's banking sector. In tomorrow's lecture, we will see the remaining part of this. Okay, yes. Tomorrow we will see. Just a minute. We will cover the instruments and working of monetary policy, non-banking financial institutions, capital market and its regulations. Yes. So tomorrow is also an interesting session for the all students because NSE, BSE, that is a very interesting part of the study. That is Bombay Stock Exchange, National Stock Exchange, and I think which one part? Instruments and working of the monetary policy. So today we engaged our lecture with the role of commercial banks, then a role of central bank in the economy, and for foremost important part the money support. Okay, so these are the important topics for the preparation. I copied a link here. Yes. This is static.career.360. At the last bottom of that PDF file, you will find the list of questions. Okay. अंडर दिस मनी डिटर्मिनेंट्स के कॉलम में जो आपको लास्ट में जो वेब लिंक मिल रहा है, इट कंटेन्स द क्वेश्चंस ऑफ banking sector. Okay, so prepared for the examination. All questions are very essential for the preparation, so I think you will doing in a good manner. Okay, तर मला सांगायचं असं की आतापर्यंत आपण जे काही डिस्कस केलं त्याच्यामध्ये 4 महत्त्वाचे मुद्दे आपण डिस्कस केलेले आहेत. एक, पैसा म्हणजे काय, पैसा किंवा पैशाचा पुरवठा म्हणजे काय. त्याच्यानंतर आपण बघितलं की तो पैशाचा पुरवठा कोण तयार करतो, दॅट इज सेंट्रल बँक, आणि ते विस्तारित कसं केलं जातं तर ते बँकिंग सेक्टर थ्रू म्हणजे कमर्शियल बँकांकडून. बरोबर, म्हणजे बघा एक पॉइंट एकमेकाला असा जोडलेला आहे. एक पहिला मुद्दा आहे पैशाचा पुरवठा. निर्माण कोण करतं, RBI म्हणजे सेंट्रल बँक, आणि त्याच्यानंतर ते डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कुठं होतं, कमर्शियल बँककडे. ठीक आहे, म्हणजे सर्व पेमेंट्स कोणा थ्रू होतात, कमर्शियल बँक थ्रू ट्रान्झॅक्शन्स होतात. करेक्ट. आता तर तुम्ही डिजिटल मनी वापरताय, सो कम्प्लीट कंट्रोल ओव्हर द लिक्विडिटी ऑफ मनी दॅट इज goes to the transactions made by the commercial banks. So the fundamental of all these activities, याचं सगळं जे मूळ जे आहे ते कुठे आहे तर व्यापारी बँका जे काही ट्रान्झॅक्शन्स करतात बिझनेस ॲक्टिव्हिटीमधून पब्लिक बरोबर आणि गव्हर्नमेंट बरोबर, अशा तिन्ही बाजूंनी सगळ्यात महत्त्वाची भूमिका कोण बजावते तर कमर्शियल बँक्स. RBI काय करतं, रूल्स अँड रेग्युलेशन्स, हे RBIचं सगळ्यात महत्त्वाचं काम. आणि कंट्रोल ओव्हर दी सप्लाय ऑफ मनी विथ ऑपरेशन्स ऑफ दी व्हरायटी ऑफ टूल्स अँड इन्स्ट्रुमेंट्स, that is comes under the quantitative measures and qualitative measures. That measures we will discuss in the tomorrow's lecture. गुणात्मक आणि संख्यात्मक अशी काही साधनं वापरली जातात पैसा नियंत्रणासाठी किंवा आपण त्याला पैसा पुरवठा नियंत्रणासाठी, आणि त्या अंतर्गत आपण उद्या बघणार आहोत की गुणात्मक आणि संख्यात्मक कोणते साधनं वापरली जातात. त्याच्यामध्ये आपण ते उद्याच डीपमध्ये डिस्कस करूया. ठीक आहे. त्याच्यानंतर आत्ता जे मी तुम्हाला सांगितलेलं आहे त्याच्यामध्ये तुम्हाला M1, M2, M3, M4 हे काय आहेत, 4 प्रकारचे पैसा मापनाची जी साधनं आहेत ती आहेत. ती तुम्ही लक्षात ठेवायची आहे, कारण प्रश्न कशाही पद्धतीने विचारला जाऊ शकतो. त्यातल्या त्यात 2 महत्त्वाचे प्रश्न तुम्ही त्यामध्ये करायचं आहे. एक नॅरो मनी आणि ब्रॉड मनी जे मी दिलेलं आहे तुम्हाला, आणि त्याहून अधिक महत्त्वाचं आहे मनी मल्टिप्लाय, क्रेडिट मल्टिप्लाय, आणि जो कॅश रिझर्व्ह रेशो आहे तो कसा आयडेंटिफाय केला जातो. तर तुम्हाला या मुद्द्यांमधनंच कळालं असेल की सेंट्रल बँकच्या अंडर कंट्रोलमध्ये काय आहे, दॅट इज द रिझर्व्ह मनी. जे कमर्शियल बँक्स आहेत त्यांच्या कंट्रोलमध्ये काय आहे, दॅट इज हाय पॉवर्ड मनी. ओके. आणि जे ऑर्डिनरी पब्लिक आहे, तुम्ही आम्ही जे कोणी आहोत, त्या कॉमन सिटिझन्स, त्यांच्या अंडर काय आहे, मनी मल्टिप्लाय, दॅट इज 1/रिझर्व्ह रेशो. म्हणजे जो पैसा कमर्शियल बँक्स रिझर्व्ह बँकेकडे ठेवतात तो सोडून उर्वरित सगळा पैसा लोक वापरतात. करेक्ट. तर त्याचं जे गणित आहे ते, या 3 गणित, याला मिल्टन फ्राइडमनचा अप्रोच असं म्हटलं जातं. म्हणजे तुम्हाला तो प्रश्न आला तरी तो तुम्हाला माहिती असायला पाहिजे, बिईंग अ इकॉनॉमिक स्टुडंट. ओके. की हा जो अप्रोच आहे, आणि ट्रॅडिशनल अप्रोच तुम्हाला माहिती आहे, तुम्ही डिमांड थेरी तुम्ही वाचली आहे, क्वांटिटी थेरी ऑफ मनी. ओके. MV इज इक्वल टू PT. Then we know the all Cambridge equations. Okay, cash balance approach. आणि कॅश बॅलन्स अप्रोच मध्येच हा मॉनिटरी अप्रोच पुढे मिल्टन फ्राइडमननी डिस्कस केलेला आहे, की ज्याच्यामध्ये त्यांनी मनी मल्टिप्लायर ऍड करून त्याचं सगळं एक्सप्लेनेशन इनबिल्ट केलं. So under that, these stock of high powered money, reserve money, and currency and deposit ratio, that are the important aspects regarding the money determinants. ओके. तर ते तुम्ही करायचं आहे व्यवस्थितरित्या, की पैशाच्या पुरवठ्यावर मूलतः कोणाकोणाचा परिणाम होतो. तर सगळ्यात महत्त्वाचं की सेंट्रल बँक काय धोरणं ठरवते त्याच्यानुसार पैशाच्या पुरवठ्यामध्ये बदल होतो. कमर्शियल बँका जे काही राखीव निधीचं धोरण ठरवतात त्याच्यावर सुद्धा पैशाचा पुरवठा अवलंबून आहे. आणि सगळ्यात महत्त्वाचं पब्लिक बिहेवियर, म्हणजे लोक कशा प्रकारे पैशाचा वापर करत आहे, सेव्हिंग्स वाढले तर काय होणार आहे, आणि गुंतवणूक म्हणजे इन्व्हेस्टमेंट विड्रॉ वाढली तर प्रोडक्टिव्ह पर्पजसाठी ते मनी जर वापरलं गेलं, देन इट इज इफेक्टिव्ह युटिलायझेशन ऑफ द मनी असं आपण कन्सिडर करतो. सो मनी ॲग्रिगेट्स असा एक विषय असतो, दॅट मनी ॲग्रिगेट तुम्हाला ते मॅक्रोमध्ये झालेलं आहे. तर ते थोडंसं एकदा रिवाईज करा जेव्हा बँकिंगचा अभ्यास करताय तेव्हाच, म्हणजे मग तुम्हाला ते डिटरमाइन करायला सोपं जाईल की मनी ॲग्रिगेट्समध्ये काय येतं. बरोबर. म्हणजे क्रेडिट मनी सप्लाय वगैरे हे जे हे त्याच्यामध्ये इन्क्लूड होतं. तर ते तुम्ही व्यवस्थित करायचं आहे अभ्यासाच्या तयारीनुसार. ठीक आहे. देन दिस क्रेडिट मल्टिप्लायर इज इम्पॉर्टंट. देन फंक्शन्स ऑफ RBI, याच्यामध्ये मी तुम्हाला सांगितलं की यू हॅव टू व्हिजिट टू द RBI वेबसाईट. त्या RBIच्या वेबसाईटवर तुम्ही गेल्याच्या नंतर तुम्हाला काय काय बघायचं हे मी सांगितलं की बेसिक फंक्शन्स तर तुम्हाला माहितीच आहेत, हे जे मी इथे लिहिले, इश्यू ऑफ करन्सी अँड नोट्स, की जे पेपर नोट्स आहेत ते आणि कॉइन्स हे छापण्याचं काम कोण करतं, RBI करते. फक्त 1 रुपयाची नोट जी आहे ते गव्हर्नमेंट पब्लिश करतं, ते पण काही पुन्हा करत नाही, अगदी इसेन्शियल मॅनरमध्ये ते पब्लिश होत असतं, अदरवाईज नाही. देन बँक्स is providing these RBI is working for the governmental finance. जे काही बजेटरी अंदाजपत्रक असतं त्या अंदाजपत्रकामध्ये कोणत्या क्षेत्राला किती पैसा पुरवठा करायचा आहे याची सगळे गणित मॉनिटरी पॉलिसी म्हणजेच मौद्रिक धोरणामध्ये ठरविले जातात. सो किती फंड अवेलेबल आहे हे कशावरून कळणार आहे, तर जे काही पब्लिक रेव्हेन्यू आहे त्याच्यानुसार आणि किती पब्लिक एक्सपेंडिचर करायचं आहे त्याच्यानुसार. करेक्ट. म्हणजे तुमचा जो इंडियन इकॉनॉमीचा भाग जो आहे त्याच्यामध्ये तुम्हाला हा पार्ट कशामध्ये आहे, रिसिप्ट्समध्ये आहे, की बँकिंग सेक्टरला मिळालेल्या किती रिसिप्ट्स मिळाल्या व्यवसायातून, उद्योगातून, किंवा लोकांनी किती पैसा डिपॉझिट केला, लेंड केल्यानंतर सुद्धा पुन्हा डिपॉझिट किती केला. बरोबर आहे. बिकॉज इफ इट इज लेंडिंग फॉर द प्रोडक्टिव्ह ऍक्टिव्हिटी देन अगेन इट इज द पार्ट ऑफ द अर्निंग ऑफ द बँकिंग सेक्टर. ठीक आहे. So according to that, the banks are working for the earnings or the margins. म्हणजेच पैशाचा पुरवठा हा बँका जरी आरबीआय नियंत्रण करत असली तरी कमर्शियल बँकांचा जो काही रोल आहे की कमर्शियल बँका किती सेवा सुविधा लोकांपर्यंत पोहोचवतात आणि त्याचा उपयोग किती होतो याच्यावर सुद्धा मोबिलिटी ऑफ फंड्स हे किती मोठ्या प्रमाणात आहे त्याच्यावर हे पुष्कळदा अवलंबून आहे. त्याच्यानंतर जो महत्वाचा घटक आहे त्याच्यामध्ये कमर्शियल बँकांचा रोल खूप मोठ्या प्रमाणात आहे. त्याच्यानंतर मी तुम्हाला आणखीन एक गोष्ट सांगितली होती की हे ऍक्ट आरबीआयचे जे ऍक्ट आहेत ऍक्ट 1934, 39, 99, 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009 मध्ये दोन आहेत बँकिंग सिक्युरिटीज रेग्युलेशन्स आणि आरबीआय रिफंड रूल्स. ओके, सो ते आणि इंडियन कॉइनेज ऍक्ट ओके 2011. सो हे अत्यंत महत्त्वाचं आहे जे तुम्ही करायचं आहे. त्याच्यानंतर कमर्शियल बँकिंगमध्ये मी तुम्हाला आणखी एक सांगितलं होतं. कमर्शियल बँकिंगमध्ये आत्ताचं जे डिजिटल बँकिंग आहे ते याच्यात इन्क्लूड झालेलं नाही आहे ड्यू टू लॅक ऑफ टाईम. तर त्याच्यावर थोडासा फोकस करा की ई बँकिंग, ई फायनान्स आणि ई कॉमर्स. ओके, ई बँकिंग, ई फायनान्स, ई कॉमर्स त्याच्यासाठीचे जे पोर्टल्स अवेलेबल आहेत ऑनलाईन त्या पोर्टल्सची माहिती काढा. त्या पोर्टलमध्ये डिजिटल पेमेंट सिस्टम जे आहे ते कोणकोणत्या ॲपच्या माध्यमातून केलं जातं ते तुम्हाला माहीत असणं खूप गरजेचं आहे. सो इट इज व्हेरी जनरल वी कॅन से. सो बेटर प्रिपरेशनसाठी बँकिंग अँड फायनान्सचं कोणतंही पुस्तक वापरा किंवा मॉनिटरी इकॉनॉमिक्सच्या हेडच्या अंडर कोणतंही पुस्तक तुम्ही वापरू शकता. तर त्याच्यामधून तुम्हाला हे पूर्णतः बँकिंग सेक्टर कळून जाईल. त्याच्यामध्ये के डेव्हिडचं एक आहे ते पुस्तक तुम्ही वापरू शकता फॉर मॉनिटरी इकॉनॉमिक्स किंवा जे कंबाईन बुक आहे मोठं ते पण तुम्ही रेफरला वापरू शकता. जो मोठा व्हॉल्यूम आहे त्याच्यामध्ये मनी, बँकिंग, इंटरनॅशनल ट्रेड अँड मॅक्रो इकॉनॉमिक्स असं के डेव्हिडचं 3 विभागांमधलं पुस्तक आहे. ते वापरलं तरी छान आहे. त्याच्यानंतर एस बी गुप्ताचं एक मॉनिटरी इकॉनॉमिक्सचं पुस्तक आहे ते वापरलं तरी तुमचं मॉनिटरी इकॉनॉमिक्स प्लस हे बँकिंग सेक्टर असं दोन्ही तुम्हाला इथे कव्हर करता येईल. त्याच्यानंतर इंडियन इकॉनॉमिकचा काही भाग तुम्ही त्याच्यामध्ये इन्क्लूड करा. इंडियन इकॉनॉमीमध्ये रुद्रदत्त सुंदरांचं पुस्तक वापरा जेणेकरून तुम्हाला त्याची लेटेस्ट कॉपी वापरा म्हणजे जेणेकरून तुम्हाला स्टॅटिस्टिकल इन्फॉर्मेशन जे आहे ती अपडेट करता येईल किंवा ऑनलाईन केली तरी काही हरकत नाही. बट यू शुड नो दी ई पोर्टल्स रिगार्डिंग द बँकिंग सेक्टर, e-components used under the banking sector, then e-products introduced by the banking sector, okay, and digital banking. What are the important points comes under the digital banking? हे याच्यात दिसत नाही मला सिलेबसमध्ये, but still it is important for the part of the study, that is all transactions nowadays are made through the digital transactions. So this is a very important part of the study that you should know the yes, I included in it that is under this Utkarsh 2.0. Okay, this is the portal developed by the RBI. See this one. Yes, this one. Utkarsh portal. Okay, Utkarsh 2.0. Under that, RBI has introduced a structure of the new banking system, a structure of or the trends of the banking sectors. Even they have explained here the opportunities of the banking and the scope of the banks. Okay, so all the details are given. Even the agenda of the Indian banking system that is already provided in this Utkarsh 2.0. So that is very essential for the study. Okay, उसका लिंक देना रह गया शायद. Okay, fine. But you can find easily. That is उत्कर्ष 2.0 आपने डाल दिया तो वो आ जाएगा आरबीआई के अंदर, या फिर आरबीआई का जो ऑफिशियल वेबसाइट है उसके उसके हेड में ही ये उत्कर्ष 2.0 आ जाता है. So you can find all the information regarding this RBI अंडर दैट आरबीआई's वेबसाइट. तो उसमें से कोई भी बुलेट आपको छोड़ना नहीं है. दो इट इज पब्लिकेशंस, दो इट इज एक्ट्स, दो इट इज लॉज, दोज विच आर द प्रोडक्ट्स. ओके, या फिर विजिट एनी नेशनलाइज्ड बैंक, any nationalized banks, and visit to the products introduced by that particular nationalized bank. Okay, then you can find the products introduced by the nationalized bank. Okay, or any commercial bank you can visit. You can see all the functions of that bank, that is the e-transfer, e-transactions of that bank, e-products introduced by that bank, then how the banks are making marketing of their individual banking, then branch expansion, then issue of the customer care, customer services provided by that bank. These are the current behavioral pattern, behavioral based questions which are very very essential. Even the social responsibility of the banks, that is also raised. The standardization of the banks, that is also included. Then we can include the digitalization of the banking sector. Then the banks which are working to the rural economy. Okay, so expanded functions of the commercial banks in the rural sector, in the rural area. That is an important part of the study. Then the banks which are providing the industrial finance, the banks which are helping the agricultural finance. Okay, the banks which are helping for the trading purposes, the functioning of the Exim Bank, functioning of the international institutions, functioning of the IMF, IBRD, ADB, these banks, how India is helping, how India is helpful from all these banks. That is also an important part of the banking sector. Okay, म्हणजे एनी बँक, हे बघा इथे कोणतीही बँक ही काय म्हणायचं मला, नफा महत्तम करण्याच्या तत्वानेच व्यवहार अर्थव्यवस्थेमध्ये उतरते. त्यामुळे नफा मिळवणे हा तर सर्वोत्तम उद्देश असतो किंवा सर्वप्रथम उद्देश असतो कोणत्याही बँकिंग सेक्टरचा. त्यामुळे ज्या बँकेचे डिपॉझिट्स जास्त म्हणजे सेव्हिंग्स जास्त, त्या बँकेचा स्टँडर्ड पण मोठं असतं आणि त्याच्यानंतर पुरविल्या जाणाऱ्या वित्त सेवाही त्या प्रमाणात मोठ्या प्रमाणात असतात. या वित्त सेवांमध्ये कशा कशाचा समावेश होतो. आत्ताचं जे काही काय म्हणतो आपण इलेक्ट्रॉनिक माध्यम आहे, त्या माध्यमाच्या आधारावर बँका कोणकोणत्या सेवा सुविधा ग्राहकांना पोहोचवतात, ग्राहक हा केंद्रबिंदू म्हणून किती बँका काम करतात, ते मांडल्यामुळे किती बँकांचा नफा झालेला आहे, किंवा त्यांचे जे असेट्स आहेत किंवा नॉन परफॉर्मिंग असेट्सवर बँका काम करतात का, त्या किती करतात, लोन रिकव्हरी बँकांची किती आहे, या सगळ्या गोष्टींचा समावेश बँकिंग याच्यामध्ये येतो. पण आता हे कसं आहे, हे तुम्ही करंट पेपर जितके वाचाल त्या करंट पेपरमध्ये जे काही मर्जिंग असेल बँकांचं, ते हा एक मुद्दा ॲडिशनल आहे की किती नॅशनलाइज बँकांचं मर्जिंग झालं आहे, कोणत्या कोऑपरेटिव्ह बँकांचं मर्जिंग झालं आहे. जर सेट देणार असाल तर सेटमध्ये तुम्हाला लक्ष ठेवावं लागेल की सारस्वत सारखी बँक असेल तर त्यांचं मर्जिंग झालेलं आहे. ओके, किंवा युको बँक सॉरी अशा कोणत्या बँकांचं, सांगली जिल्हा मध्यवर्ती कोऑपरेटिव्ह बँक असेल तर त्या बँकेचं मर्जिंग झालेलं आहे. तर हे तुम्हाला म्हणजे प्रत्यक्ष जोपर्यंत तुम्ही पेपर वाचत नाही, न्यूजपेपरमध्ये तुमचं किती रीडिंग आहे याच्यावर हे सगळं डिटर्मिनेशन आहे. सो यूज द रीडिंग ऑफ न्यूजपेपर डेली बेसिस फॉर हाफ ॲन आवर ॲटलिस्ट. ओके, की खूप इग्नोर होत असेल तरी किमान अर्धा तास तुम्ही पेपर रिडिंगला द्या असं मी सजेस्ट करेन. आणि त्याच्यामध्ये पण तुम्ही इकॉनॉमिक्सचं पेज बघा की जिथे बँकिंगचे इश्यूज असतील, सोशल इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चरचा इश्यूज असेल, त्याच्यानंतर अशा काही मॉनिटरी पॉलिसीज इम्प्लिमेंट झाल्या असतील त्याचा विषय असेल, RBIने नवीन इंट्रोड्यूस केलेलं रेग्युलेशन ॲक्ट असेल, तर या सगळ्यांकडे किंवा पैसा पुरवठ्यामध्ये झालेला बदल असेल, औद्योगिक क्षेत्रामध्ये अचानक आलेले प्रपोजल्स असतील, प्रोजेक्ट्स असतील, तर या सगळ्या करंट नॉलेजचा उपयोग तुम्हाला एक्झामिनेशनसाठी खूप महत्त्वाचा ठरणार आहे. तर त्याच्यासाठी पेपर रिडिंग किमान अर्धा तास रोज. आता काही गरज नाही की हार्ड कॉपी आणा आणि वाचा. सो एव्हरी न्यूजपेपर इज अवेलेबल ऑन अ सिंगल क्लिक. So try to visit the newspaper links and get the information, current information of all these updates. Okay, so today we are going to stop our lecture here and wishing you a very very all the best for the okay. So all the best for your future studies. Please continue with the studies, okay, and utilize the reference books which I referred to you. Okay, that will help you for the preparation of the examinations. So please do continuously for the preparation. You divide all economics chapters and according to that you have to study. Okay, so micro, macro, public finance, Indian economy, banking sector, international trade. Okay, divide the subject and then according to that you have to study in a right manner, in a right way. Okay, so all the best and we will meet soon. Okay, for the second session of this same component of banking sector for the monetary policy and the monetary policy. Okay, fine. Thank you very much. All the best. Do good. Thank you.